Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm here with our three amazing guests today, Leslie, Justin, and Allie. Everybody say hello.
What's
Hello.
up?
Hi. Hello.
So they are the amazing co-host of Living Life Consciously, and they've been doing this for a long time. They've interviewed so many amazing people, so I wanted
Mhm.
to bring them on so you guys could hear their story and how they followed that inner voice to be where they are today. So, would any of you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your path, how you ended up doing the podcast?
I
Allie.
can go first. Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Allie from Living Life Consciously with Hello Allie, and I am here with my two amazing,
Yep.
wonderful co-hosts, Justin and Leslie. And I am thrilled to be here with Dr. Pontea. We've spoken with her on our channel. Shout out to Reverend Bill. Just wanted to get that out there. And we're excited to be able to speak with your audience today. And this is the first time that we're on this side of the interview. So I just want to also say that this is literally the first time that
Yeah, we're being interviewed.
like
Yeah.
as a group, like, yeah, this is the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm Justin. Thanks for having me. A little bit about myself is I came to spirituality through Allie, basically. Um, we met online and um, it's been wonderful ever since. And um, I'm just so thrilled that we get to talk to amazing people and share their story so that we can normalize conversations like this and bring it to more of a mainstream audience so
Mhm.
that we can spread the word of love.
Yes, and I'm Leslie, also known as Light Being Love,
I was hoping you
which
were
is
going to say that.
Yeah.
you will hear in every intro where I'm co-hosting. But anyways, yeah. So I also met Allie, not basically through the chats within a YouTube channel that focused on like near-death experiences, paranormal experiences. Just mystical, metaphysical types YouTube channel, and we and a group of us kind of really got along in there, and we would end up. Well, eventually, Allie made a Discord, so that kind of created that group into our own little private area where we could talk, and we would have long, long conversations about all the stuff that we, discuss on the channel. And so, long story short, we figured, why don't we do a YouTube channel, or Allie? And so, we pushed her to do it. I think I ended up
Yeah, they
co-hosting
did.
after like the first one they did on their own. They actually interviewed me, and then really shortly after that, I just joined the bandwagon because I felt very compelled. Yes, it was the nudge to do this. And one of the big reasons for that is because I feel like it's so important, all the stuff that we talk about. And it's really important that people understand that they are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that I should say, infinite or whatever spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, because that's basically what it is. And anyway, this is fully my belief, and I felt like I wanted to tell the world, but not everybody wanted to hear it, and so I kind of felt like I couldn't even speak about this stuff except to my friends in this private Discord channel, which is Hello Allie Discord. One day it might become public. I probably don't know if you want to cut that out or not, but I'm sure that will happen eventually. But so yeah, it's really been awesome to join them, and to this passion of speaking about all this, and it's going to the people who are willing to hear it and are interested in. So it's a great avenue for that, and to be able to share, because I feel like it's super important to share.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nice.
Absolutely.
That was long, sorry.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect. It's probably what a lot of people are feeling that are watching this, right? Like they can't really talk to their everybody around them. So there's like the change. So could you share about like basically like a little bit about like when you were little kids, your spirituality to like now as an adult? Like, is there any kind of correlation to like what you used to do as little kids and like what you're doing now, if that makes sense?
That does make sense. It's a complicated answer for me. I don't know. Do you guys want to go first?
I mean,
Okay,
Um,
I'll go first
yeah, you
again.
go
Okay,
first.
I would think we'll
basically,
just go make the rounds. How about?
okay. I like to, all right, I feel like the easiest way for me to up the answer to your question is that I'm what I call a recovering Catholic. I was raised as a Catholic. I made all of the sacraments up until the one you get right before you die. So like communion, confirmation, I was baptized, all that stuff. And like as a child, I went through the motions because like my parents, like I don't want to say made me, but like made me, you know. So I'm grateful for the structure that religion provided me as a kid and the conception that there is a higher power out there. However, as an adult, I transitioned away from that because I had personal problems with like the church itself. I didn't like how they were hypocritical, and then you find out that they're abusive. And anyways, I can go down conspiracy theory holes if you want me to, but basically, I had personal beef with the church, and I'm a vegan, so I shouldn't have even said that. I had personal problems with the church, and I just kind of like walked away from it. And then in my 30s, I was basically ready to like peace out of being on planet Earth. And long story short, through that whole experience, I found spirituality. And then everything just like became magical. Like everything just became so much more like it just made so much more sense. Things that I was always questioning as a kid were now being answered. So for me, it's like a full like shoo, you know, like I started off one way, now I'm a totally different way. My parents would say that they don't even recognize who I am anymore, which is cool. You know, got to break them generational curses sometimes.
Everything is more vibrant,
Yes.
I would say.
Yes. So I would say I'm more spiritual, a recovering Catholic that's spiritual.
Okay.
I try to use humor to cope for things too. If you guys can't tell
Laughter is
that.
the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. And then what about you two? Would you guys also like to share that?
Okay, so yeah, my story is when I was growing up, I was raised Christian. Then I was in a Pentecostal church for a little while. I got baptized Pentecostal. Then I somehow switched to a Baptist church and got baptized Baptist. Uh, so all of that happened before I was 10. And then after that, we kind of stopped going to church, and I had kind of a rough upbringing, you could say. Um, Things weren't always great at home, but eventually I finished high school and I moved on. And at that point, I wasn't religious. I had become basically a staunch atheist, if you would say. And I didn't believe anything, right?
Nothing.
Right.
Okay.
Just that we're here, and when we die, that's it. And I was that way for probably, I don't know, 11 or 12 years. And in my mid 30s, I discovered UAP, or, well, I had always been interested in UFOs, right? And then I discovered that the government then reclassified them as UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, is what the current term is. But so because I always had that interest in UFOs, and I always thought that there was other life out there in the universe, to find out that it's potentially actually here, whatever the life is, and that there are things flying around in the sky that we don't know what they are, and the government has admitted that.
Yep.
um, for the record. And it's not just one person in the government, multiple people in the government, hundreds of people at this point, and including every single living president of the United States has stated for the record that yes, there are things flying around in the skies that we don't know what they are. So I took that seriously. And so I started trying to study what it is and the physics behind how some of these objects move, what we are seeing, and what fighter jets are recording on their gun camera footage, and what the ships are seeing on their radar systems. So I started trying to study the physics behind that. And in doing so, I went down this rabbit hole and realized that we really don't know, what reality is. I mean, right? Like studying quantum mechanics, it led me to spirituality. It led me to realize that there is other things in the universe that we don't know, and that we don't know everything, right? So it made me realize that there is, I believe, a God. It's probably not the same as what we grew up learning, but that God is real, and or it could be just a consciousness field that we call God, but it's real. And at this point, we've talked to so many people, so many different experiencers, so many channelers, so many people that have had a near-death experience or an abductee experience that, yes, I 100% know and believe that um, what people are experiencing is really happening to them. And I think it's important to talk about it. I think it's important to normalize it. I think it's important to bring the conversation to a wider audience so that those people aren't left out in the dark, so to speak, or left out in the cold. You know, we need to include everybody and take everybody seriously because not everything that people say is untrue.
Right. And why would they lie about that with the
Exactly.
whatever they get back from everybody? I mean, people mock it, make fun of it, and
Exactly. Exactly. And whether or not, you know, you really think or whether or not you believe that there are UFOs and they're here and that's another form of intelligent life that's here on the planet. Put that aside, the fact that studying quantum mechanics made me realize that spirituality or that there's a consciousness aspect to reality um, is extremely profound and extreme, you know, it blew my mind. It did. And I have been so much better off, you know, since I've gone down this path.
yeah, and I feel like I should let everyone know that's watching. We are talking about living life consciously with Hello Allie, but also Justin and Allie do a UAP news show on UAP Society
Yes.
YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm so bad at plugging my own stuff. No, what she said, what she said.
And sorry if I went on too long. I was rambling a little bit.
It's okay.
No, that was great, and I agree with all you guys. It's important to normalize it so people don't feel like they're going crazy. Like if they see a spaceship or if they have a dream or if they've been abducted, a lot of people think they're crazy and then they medicate them, and then it's just so sad. But we know for
Yeah.
sure that aliens are real, like you guys said. So,
Mhm.
and then what about you, Leslie? Would you like to share a little bit about your path and your child?
Sure. I mean, I was trying to gather my thoughts while listening, but I was trying to stay engaged, so I didn't think about it that well. But so yeah, I mean, had a dysfunctional family, troubled childhood. Overall, I'm surprised that I was as positive. I was a very positive child. I laughed a lot. I would sing, so I was always kind of like just go with the flow, even though everything kind of is not very happy. I managed to stay happy somehow, but I was always very connected to, I guess you could say, God, and I found strength in that. But ironically, it might be the word, I'm not sure, but my father was very had a big, like, he studied the Bible on his own, but he like was anti-churches, like thinks it's like, you know, they're false teaching. Oh, they're all teaching false stuff, and he was very like hard, angry, like, man. So like it was easy for him to go off for any little reason. And then part of that was also like the preaching aspect, because even though he was an angry father who, I would say traumatic with the way he was. I mean, nothing totally abusive, but like it was a lot to deal with. And so um yeah, I had that part. So, I did not grow up and like want to go to church, or like even like I was just didn't even really want anything to do with it. And then I want to say after like 9/11 might have been like a point for me where I went, really into like nothing we're being told is true. Like everything is a conspiracy, and I was trying to learn about all of that, and I really focused on that for like decades. It seemed like, probably, but so I was trying to shout from the rooftops for the longest time about all that kind of stuff, and nobody wanted to hear that either. But anyway, so eventually, I moved on. I got married, had children, and I also have one child who is autistic, which is a lot to be I don't know what the word is, like to have to care for, like I'm that person. There's nobody else. It's me.
Right.
Anyway, and then in our family, I mean everything like it just it things were strained. And before I even have children, my marriage, we were having difficulties, and that's been ongoing. I'm still married, and with my children, and it's every day is somewhat of a struggle. I'll just put it that way. So, but after I had my child, I did like I actually went away from the conspiracy stuff, was highly focused on autism and how to help my child. So I spent like years in his first beginning of his life trying to figure out everything I could about that. The conspiracy is connected to that too. I think I won't go there, but anyway, so I think I figured some stuff out with all that. But long story short, I began I came across, like I said, how I met Allie, near-death experiences, and so I just went all in and absorbed like thousands of near-death experiences, people's testimonies of their experiences, and I guess you can say with conspiracy theories and all that, the aliens and all that's all part of that's like one section of all that. And I totally believe that we're being lied to about that. So that's always something that I've always believed as well, I would say. And through near-death experiences, and then I like channelers, like one of the first was a very old channeler, Jane Roberts, from Seth Speaks material, but it's really good stuff. And it like explained like to me, I like pretty much felt like I had everything pretty much sorted out and like what's actually happening here. And I was very open to all the information, but it only because it made sense. As I'm ingesting all this information, it's like everything's making sense, and I'm like, this is happening, okay. And so luckily, family and friends and my, immediate surroundings did not want to really hear anything about anything. But it really helped me because I was also in very low places. And I do think that people do find spirituality and hope or whatever is through basically being like really down and finding a way within and however you can for yourself. And I did that. And I would say self-love was a big part because I had to kind of learn that and start implementing that. And just realizing that we are actually all one, you know what I mean? We're like fractals of source God experience in itself, or all that is, or whatever, however you want to say that. I totally believe that. And I feel like it's evident if you do enough research on all these topics, you can connect all the dots and what's happening here. And so I just want everybody to know that really everything is okay. And we are, eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And I just have a blast with Allie and Justin talking to, all of our guests. And it was a pleasure talking to you as well. And so, yeah, here we are.
I just
Aren't
love
these guys awesome?
Yeah, you're all so authentic, so brilliant. You've all gone really deep, and you've found your own truth, which is what I love about each of you. Each of you have your own individual path that has made you arrive at this place. And now you're bringing that to the community, which is the thing I love the most. It's like, okay, we went through this thing where we felt like nobody could hear us,
Yes.
but now we want other people to be heard. So that's
Mhm.
really the circle. Like, it's just so beautiful. And it's just the beginning because, didn't you guys already have some kind of an event that you all put together, like a community thing that you told me about last
Oh,
time?
we went to somebody else's. We went
Yeah.
to Alice and Holly's True Creator Summer Camp, and that's where we actually got to meet Leslie in person for the first time. So that was really fun.
Yeah, she was also a guest on the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. And she's a channeler. Yep.
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 Highly recommend you go and check her out. Also, Allison Holly.
I think I have a feeling the ET stuff's gonna come out a lot this year with the Epstein files and stuff. That's gonna be one of the things that's gonna come out because they're doing all
Right.
the weird stuff in ET labs underground, and that kind of stuff. So I
Hmm.
think that's you guys are right on the dot with that. So, I just want to ask you a little bit about like signs and synchronicities. I guess like, how do you
Ooh.
know like when it's a sign, when it's a synchronicity, and just anything you guys feel called to share about?
Okay. I guess I can go first on that one. Um, I'll give you an example. Okay, so after I found spirituality and and I feel like my life changed for the better. Um, I started noticing all these weird coincidences, and so many of them were happening at, like 4 or 5 times per day. It was happening so often that that can't just be mere coincidence,
Hmm.
right? So, okay, an example is you pull up at the gas station and you're pumping gas, and the gas pump, the gas handle shuts off on its own, and the number that you see is let's say 33.3 gallons or something, or
Angel numbers.
angel numbers,
Yeah.
right? Or the total bill was let's say 14.3. I mean, and 143 is I love you,
Hmm.
right? Um, which we see that all the time.
Hmm.
We do. So yeah, I mean, it's, and then you open up your phone and it's 111, exactly on the dot.
Mhm.
And it's just amazing that you start seeing all these uh what could be taken as a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence.
Hmm.
All these things happening at the same time throughout the day. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like the universe winking or God winking. After
Hmm.
that.
I think it's a sign showing that we're being watched over, that our whoever is guiding us, our spirit guides, if you will.
I love
It's like a sign
synchronicities.
that they're here.
Yeah, I think that the easiest way for me to like, if I had to define what a synchronicity was, it's just basically when something happens and something lines up and you're like, there's no way this is like what he just said. There's no way this is a coincidence. Like there's no way. Like for example, if you're thinking of your mom who you haven't spoken to in a while and all of a sudden out the blue she just texts you like a few minutes later or in that moment as you're thinking of her. That's like the easiest, like
Right.
most basic level of a synchronicity that I can think of. And then they can even be like super high up to where like, you're on a spiritual path and all of a sudden you meet in real life and you just recognize this person that you've met as like your soul partner, like you recognize them even though you're just meeting them for the first time in person. It's like, wait a minute, I know you. That could be a synchronicity too.
I have a great story. Okay. So a couple years ago, my father passed away, and my sister needed help getting to where his funeral was. So I paid for her plane ticket, right? Okay. I don't remember exactly what the number was. Do you remember what it was?
I
I
don't.
thought it was
I,
444
Yeah,
in the
it was.
forest.
It was. It was. It was
Mhm.
$444, right? On the money. Okay, so that's how much her plane ticket cost. And Allie and I had to drive up there. And on the way up there, uh, the nickname that my dad gave me was just in time, because I was just in time, I guess, for something when I was born. So that was my nickname, and it's always been my nickname my whole life. He always called me just in time. Um, And on the way up there, to the other state, because we had to drive like 3 or 4 states over, we passed a tractor trailer that the name of the company was Just in Time.
And I had never seen an
I'd
18
never,
wheeler say that before,
yeah,
ever.
I had no clue that even existed. Yeah,
Right.
That's
as a
awesome.
as a company, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're just driving on the road, and we pass this tractor trailer, and it says Just in
Synchronicity.
Time, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah, and I'm getting
you
the
know?
chills, so.
Right, right.
You said that. I thought about that
Yeah,
earlier. Go ahead.
yeah. And I took it as a sign. First of all, I took the price of my sister's plane ticket as a sign, right? 444, angel number.
He's big on angel numbers, you guys.
Yeah. And then seeing that tractor trailer just in time, I took that as a sign also that my dad was with us and watching over us. And then when we pulled into the city, where my dad was, um, my bank account was $444, exactly the same as my sister's plane ticket.
It's like these things just kept happening, like boom, 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 like the whole entire time. It was like
Yeah,
synchronicity after
yeah,
synchronicity after
exactly,
synchronicity. It was like once
exactly.
they start happening, and I feel like the more that you recognize them and get emotionally excited about it, it's like
Mhm.
the more they happen.
Right,
Yeah.
the more you start to
Feeling
see them.
grateful for the sign. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
sends
and
more.
Exactly.
believing that it is a sign. And yeah, it's like, yeah.
Mm.
So for me, I will say, like, early on in my spiritual awakening, I was seeing 1111 a lot to start. So like that was like a trigger angel number for me. Um, and it was just happening a lot. And then I was very connected to angels in the beginning of my, and I still am, but it's so much more than just angels, obviously. But that was like one of my stronger connections was with, my angels, and understanding that we all have like spirit teams and angels and guides and all the things, so I tried, to stay connected to them. And so um, and also I could mention, that I did have a miscarriage early on in my life. And so in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, I had like what I am pretty confident was my child that, I lost really early on in the pregnancy, but still it would have been a child for myself. But so like the feeling I had was always in a car. I would be by myself in my car, and I would feel like what you would think a 5-year-old kid or something might be like pushing with their feet in your seat while you're driving. You can feel like the
Mm.
seat, and it literally felt
Yeah.
like that, and it would happen all the time. And my first feeling was like, because that's the only thing I could connect it to, because I do have a child, and they do that, so I know like what that sensation is like. And so I was just like pretty much feeling it. Originally, I was like, who's in here? But like pretty soon, I came to the conclusion that this has got to be my kid, that because it's doing this kid thing. But
Aw.
I'm rambling on. But yeah, so that really was another thing that opened me up a lot more to everything that I was already learning about. And I just continued to learn more after that, because that was pretty powerful for me. Um, and then I ended up connecting to hawks. I'm still very connected to hawks, but there was a period of time, months or a year, or I don't know, where I was seeing them everywhere. That seemed like they were always visiting, flying over, like so I just, I'm like, okay, this is my spirit animal. And I was very connected to it. And and like just the other day, I'm just like, I love it, because I'm losing my voice a little bit, I feel like. But anyway, I don't know what's going on there. Sorry. Um, but yeah, the hawks. But oh, and light. It's a combination, because also another synchronicity for me is when I'm driving at night in the city, like not every time, I don't want to say that because that sounds very, but it's not every, but pretty much every night that I'm driving, it does happen. But as I'm going under the street
The
lights,
street
they'll go
lights.
out.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I'm approaching it, it's about to go overhead, and it just goes out.
And
And
she's
that happens
posted
like all the
videos
time.
of this. Like it does happen all the time. She's posted videos. She's like, look, it's happening again. She drives under it, starts flickering, and then
Right.
just goes out. It's like, Leslie.
Yeah, and I have wondered, like, maybe that's my own like field doing something, I don't know, but or if it
Yeah.
could be a sign. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but either way,
Maybe
it's
you
a
have orbs
sign.
following you.
Synchronicities. But the hawk, the other day, and it might have been a day where I probably need a little bit more support, because it seems like things show up more for me in those times where I'm just like needing them to give me a sign. But twice in the same day in different areas, as I'm driving under a street lamp, a hawk is flying right to that street lamp to land on it. And so I had two hawks land on a street lamp as I'm passing under it in two different spots in the same day. I just love that. But so I'm like,
Double synchronicity.
yeah. Or just, yeah, synchronicity. And, it's like guidance.
Yep, spirit signs.
Yeah.
And so important for the people listening when they feel alone, right? Like it's like when we go through these hard times and we see these signs, it's like, okay, no, everything is going to be okay. And like you all said, when things are tougher, they seem to send more signs to be like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Hmm.
And then you feel super like happy about it, and like, yeah, so it's like awesome, like Allie said, and that's how you connect, I think. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And let me see the next question. That would be good. Okay, so since you all started your Dharma, you came together as a number of three, which is a very powerful number. We know that's like the number of creation, right? When you have three, you can make anything with it. And Tesla was obsessed with 369. there you go, the triquetra. I love that. So basically, my question is, what is your suggestion for people wanting to start their Dharma? Maybe like, because most people work and then start their Dharma and then things shift, or basically, like, what would be your suggestion for people wanting to follow that voice and do something for humanity, which is what you've done. You've done your service project now.
I think I have an answer, unless anybody else.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you mind restating the question? Because I felt like there was a specific piece of it I wanted to jump off of, and I can't remember what it was.
Yes, basically, what is your suggestion for anyone wanting to start their Dharma, their service to humanity?
Right. Okay. So, and you also mentioned something about like hearing the guidance or seeing the signs, right? So, my suggestion is to slow down. You are a human being, not a human doing, right? So, early on in my spiritual journey, I found yoga. And yoga is amazing. It did so many things. I love that studio. Shout out Yoga Pod in Gainesville, Florida. And I just feel like when I started learning, and it was specifically, well, okay, so I did yoga flow, which is a lot of movement, a lot of deep breathing and stuff like that. And that was super helpful because it got me really in tune with my body, with controlling my breathing, doing breath to movement. It's very intentional. It's a very intentional practice. As soon as you step on the mat, you're supposed to set an intention for that hour that you're there. So it really makes you start to become conscious of like what you're trying to manifest in the world consciously. And then when I started doing yin yoga, which is a slower yoga, it's basically like getting comfy and hanging out in those comfy poses. And then you switch and you're in another comfy pose. And doing that not only like opens up your body and allows things to move, it stretches your fascia, it allows your body to like release things just because of your physical nature, but it also again gives you time to go inward. And the reason why I'm saying this is because that's when you can really hear your inner guidance. Like if you're brand new to this and you're constantly just go, 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 you got to slow down. Like you got to slow down. So like take up a practice where you start meditating. And meditating is not just like sitting on a pillow or on the top of a mountain going, like you can have a walking meditation too. I mean, even if you like doing your dishes and you zone out and all of a sudden you come back and all your sinks of dishes is done and you're like, wait a minute, how did that happen? I don't remember even doing that. Like that's a meditation too. So I feel like my suggestion would to be to slow down enough to give yourself a chance to hear these things, to see the subtle signs, to hear the very soft little voices. And then the more you start getting in tune with yourself, the more the guidance will come. Your angels are there literally waiting for you to ask them for help, but you have to be able to also then hear them and see that what they're doing for you. So I feel like going inward, becoming quiet, learning a stillness meditation practice will be humongously beneficial for you.
Yeah. I can say that meditation was key also in helping me slow down and be able to hear them, And just for the record, I absolutely love yin yoga.
I got him hooked on it.
Yeah. It's great.
So I had a whole thought and somehow I lost it there. I was trying to re-grab it. But yeah, I guess one of the main things that was sticking out for me is, self-love. I think that a lot of people, are constantly showing up for like everybody else but themselves. So and we are all one, and so we're self-love and healing is all the same thing. So basically like people need to like heal from all the traumas. It's going to be a first step to even be able to like help others, I think, is to really go inward. Yes. Love yourself, heal, and yoga is one way you could do that. And the whole fascia thing is amazing. I won't go off onto that, but yeah, that really apparently holds all of our like emotions. It's like it is the water that is in us. We're 70% water. And I'm pretty sure I'm learning a little bit more about the fascia, but I think that's where all the water's mostly contained, is within that. Anyway, I'm going off. I'm way off on that. Sorry, I'm like anyway. So
good job. No,
okay.
I think a lot of people will relate to it. Like, why does my body hurt all the time? It's like, well, it's probably stored trauma,
Yeah,
literally. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So basically just love yourself, and it's really going to help others treat you right. But like, yeah, hurt people. So long story short is what I'm going to say is that we're all one, and we need to love ourselves. It's going to help us love others, because if you don't love yourself, you can't fully love others. And then, and just to be kind, and all these little things. And from near-death experiences, it's all these little things where you're just kind to a passerby or whatever that like really matter so much when you're doing your life review and things like that, because the ripple effect, so we have the effect goes out, whether it's a kind action or a not so nice action, because that person's going to turn around and either be kind to somebody if it was something you did kind, or if you hurt their feelings, they're going to go out and hurt somebody else's feelings. And that's just the way it works. And so if we all can love ourselves, then we can love others, and everybody would be on that path, I think. Dharmic path. I'm learning about those terms and things, but yeah, I think that would fit what you were asking.
And a perfect example of the synchronicity things that happen all the time is I just happened to look at the time, and our time right now, it said it was 5:43, but the 43 is significant because it means love you, right? So that if you see a 43, you could take that as like a reminder to love yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Like if you're running on fumes, you can't get anywhere. So you have to pour back into your own cup. You have to fill your gas tank. You have to do things in acts of self-love.
Right.
And self-love is not selfish. Self-love is so that you nurture your own self to keep going. Like our souls are hanging out in these meat suits while we're here on earth for like, I don't know, maybe less than 100 years. But I mean, it really is your temple to take care of. So I also want to point out the fact that like you should feed your body nutrients. Don't just eat to get full, like eat to fuel your body with good stuff that it needs to keep going and to like regenerate your cells and all that stuff. That's a whole different subject. I just wanted to mention that.
And then gratitude for what we're putting in our body, like to give the intention, because that's going to even make that even better for you. Anyway, but I was going to say too that I lost it. I did. If it comes back, I'll let you know. But it felt like it was important, but I don't know what I was going to say. So anyway.
Well, I just think it's so interesting that your aura is setting off lights, because we're talking about that at the workshop yesterday. Lady couldn't do like her thumbprint or something like that because her finger kept messing with the electronics. And then they're like, why does that happen? Like some people's auras get so high frequency, it messes with internet, everything. Like Reverend Bill went to go take his DMV picture. The thing shut off like 4 times, And he's like, no,
it's wild. I mean, like, what is it? It seems like some sort of reaction made me think of what I was going to say. I thought about my quote thing that I made up, Allie, but that creation and reaction are spelled with the same letters. And so like, because I figured that out, like of course I go into deep thought about it all, and I'm like, I do believe we all are creating our realities by the way we think, feel, believe, you know what I mean? And so, and what I was going to say too, Allie, was, self-love, all that, but if you're super stressed out, you're not going to be able to like do anything or care for anybody, you know what I mean? You have to basically it's understand your emotions, reasons why you might feel certain ways, letting things move through you, not getting stuck and getting stressed out, because it just turns into a big mess and you have the negative thoughts. And we're, like I said, I think we're creating our reality with our beliefs and our thoughts. And so if we're having these ruminating negative thoughts, I mean, we're not creating anything good there, we're only creating more of that. So to really start catching yourself and monitoring your thoughts so you can practice, because it's going to take a lot of practice to come out of those types of behaviors, I guess. But you can do it, and even a little bit, you feel the difference, when you start to understand, I guess, the laws of the universe, you might say. But things become more clear and easier to deal with this physical life and all the stuff that we actually deal with here, which I think is for a reason too. I mean, it's part of the school, but anyway, creation and reaction are spelled with the same letters, and so if you think about it. As we're experiencing life in our human lifetimes, we're reacting to things. So it's our reaction, whether it be a negative reaction to something or a positive, that we're creating as well with our reactions. Anyway, that wasn't my quote, but that's the gist of what my quote says. Is that basically we are our reactions are our creations, sort of.
I
Yeah.
never heard that before. I never knew that they were the same word. Like, that's so cool, you know? I'm gonna remember that always now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think like a lot of people might get triggered, right? Because the world is kind of going into an interesting cycle right now. Things are
Oh yeah.
up. So I guess what is your suggestion for people on dealing with their reaction? Is it self-care or is there other ways of like catching our any other tools you would like to suggest for those things? Any of you? Like reactions and triggers and
Um,
things like that?
I mean, I think, to stop focusing on all the negative, it's good to be aware, and it's good to attempt in your own way, however you can, to stop, evil doings, and, but you're one person, and the ripple effect is real. So what we are focusing on, what is it, where your attention goes,
Energy,
energy
where
flows.
energy flows. Oh my gosh, you did
Where
that
your
right.
attention goes, energy flows. I think I said
That,
it
that part.
So, I'm not saying for everybody to go, bury their heads in the sand, I guess you could say, but to be aware but not focus on all of it, because the more we do, we're basically messing up our internal self, our, our,
Hmm.
I don't know, everybody needs to focus on themselves, their immediate loved ones, and then what they can do to bring positivity to the world. I guess I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, kind of like when you have a bad moment or something stresses you out, it's important to recognize it and to give it its space, but then to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Just let it go. And when you do that, and you start to have more positive thoughts, and you start to live like a better and healthier life
Hmm.
because you're not just holding on to all those traumas. You're giving it space, and then you're letting it go.
And
And
then
I
you're
think,
trying to see the good, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're looking for that and being grateful for that. And
Hmm.
then when you get the signs,
Right.
synchronicities or
Right.
whatever, it's just
And
an ongoing thing.
just know that everybody goes through struggles, right? Nobody's perfect. We're all human. Um, so you're not alone in that aspect or regard. But yeah, for me, the most important thing is to look at something, realize it, give it its space, its time, its moment, but then to let it go. Don't hold on to it.
mm. And I think the thing that I would like to highlight at this moment, kind of piggybacking off of what both of Justin and Leslie just said, is the importance of shadow work. Shadow work is just basically, how do I explain what shadow work is for those who may not know what it is? It's basically where you go through your life, identify points of trauma, and then in this present moment, offer love and healing and forgiveness to that moment. Not saying that that moment was okay or acceptable or whatever. Like, I know a lot of people have an issue around forgiveness, me personally, myself too, but just know that you're doing it so that you're releasing your attachments of energy to that moment, and so that you can move forward in a different way. Like, for example, when I was a kid, and in school, I would bring home a math test, right? And it would be like a 99% on my math test. And I would bring it home so excited, like expecting all this like good praise and stuff. And I love my dad. He was like definitely like the bad cop of my two parents, but he would always be like, "Well, Allison, why didn't you get 100?" And he would literally like point out that 1% that I missed, rather than celebrating like the 99% that I did get. And in his mind, it's like, well, if you're smart enough to get the 99, you should have been smart enough to get the 100. But again, it's like pointing out a flaw.
Like you're
So
not good
like,
enough.
right. So like now in my adult life, and this is something that I'm still working on through my own personal shadow work, is like when someone criticizes me, I automatically have this like jump response to defend myself with like everything I have, because it's like I was programmed and conditioned from a child that like nothing was ever all the way good enough, and like I always had to like hyper focus on the things I was doing wrong rather than celebrating the moments that were good. And it's like I'm still to this day working on not being so reactive and to respond in a different way when somebody criticizes me. Like instead of like getting all triggered and be like all mad and stuff, I could be like, okay, thank you. I'm accepting and hearing your opinion and your piece, and then try to move forward in a different way.
Yeah,
So
and
shadow
usually,
so right, and doing shadow work really allows you to like take ownership over the things that are the traumas that you're carrying on your back. It allows you to let those traumas go and move forward with a lighter soul and a lighter spirit.
Yeah, and things would probably trigger you, prior. But I think when you are working on yourself and everything, the things that would trigger you from trauma and all the things in your programming and all this stuff, but you realize too, when someone is not being very nice or saying a kind thing, it's not anything to do with you. It's all to do with the person who is saying it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
Their
there's
own projections.
yeah, it is. And it's like what they're dealing with, they're the ones that are not feeling happy or good. And so they are putting down on whoever because they need to work on themselves. I'm just going to say that. But and I'm not talking about your dad necessarily, but in general,
Oh,
it's
I
usually
would
the
Yeah.
say
case.
that's a valid statement. It's okay. You can make it.
So, yeah.
I love that. So loving our own shadow and then loving the shadow in others when they're having a trigger, like both ways.
Being aware that they also have stuff. Yeah. And
Yeah,
there's
we all have
reasons why they're
shadow.
acting how they are. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And
And so, and then when we are triggered, and we still, I say we, but I definitely have my days. Like just the other day, I had a freak out moment, like, and so, but we have to move on and forgive yourself because, yeah, like Justin said, we're all human. You know what I mean? Like we're all here learning, and it's really hard here. It can get tough, and so, and
Yeah.
we're nobody's perfect, so like, but it's about forgiving yourself and others too, because if you're harping or like ruminating about something, like how is that ever going to get better? It's really just forgive
Hmm.
yourself, move on, because why let it sit in you all day or for weeks or months or years or whatever, you know what I mean, and go,
Decades, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it's like just be happy, we actually can choose to do
Everything is okay.
that. Yes, it is.
yes, exactly. I love that because so many people do hold on forever, right? Like sometimes I have people talking to me about something forever, and I'm just like, God has been like
Mm.
on this for 5 years. I think we should move on, Like, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys are definitely ahead of that where you're like, I recognize it and then I'm ready to move on and, just to go back to your true self again. And I was going to ask Ali. So Ali used to be a teacher. So for
Yes.
elementary school, right?
No. No. Middle and high school. So grades 6 through 12.
So yourself. And then when you were teaching, and also both of you guys as well, like, did you notice the kids that were spiritual, or would those things stick out to you? Like, I guess, how was your experience as a teacher in the modern school, and for you two as well? Like after like working, did you recognize the spiritual people, and how was that for you guys? If anything like that came up ever?
Oh, wow. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to answer that question. I feel like when I was teaching is when I was like just starting to figure out spirituality and stuff like that. So there were certainly things that I was seeing in my real world that were allowing me to learn lessons on the spiritual level. A lot of the population of students that I personally taught for the last, I think it was like 8 years that I was teaching, I dealt with the DJJ population. And for those that don't know what DJJ is, it's Department of Juvenile Justice. Most of my students were on probation. They have committed crimes. They, had ankle monitors and probation officers and court hours and service hours that they had to do. And so the population of students that I was dealing with for a majority of my teaching career thus far to date has been with very, very troubled youth. So I don't want to say it like this because it sounds really harsh, but like they were dealing with a lot of demons. You know what I mean? Like, and you could see,
Trauma.
and you definitely, and I don't want to highlight their negativity. I don't want to seem like that type of person, but the idea of trauma being passed down through the generations became so evident to me. And it was really, really great when I saw like a student that recognized that themselves and would say stuff like, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to, my dad's in prison. I hardly ever get to see him. So when I have kids, I want to make sure that I'm always in their life. So like that's something that I can speak to because when I saw a student recognize their own
Generational.
issues and
Yeah.
generational things that were happening in their family, it was really encouraging to see such a young person make the decision to not carry that on.
That's incredible. Wow. Thank you for doing that work. The 8 years of that.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
you're welcome.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks. I miss teaching, to be honest.
Yes, and I think your guys' YouTube channel is like your teaching as well, right? Because
Yes.
would you guys agree? I don't know. And then anything you guys want to share about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely like I just took my teaching to a different platform kind of thing. You know, it's like I feel like when we went through COVID and everybody was learning how to like teach from home, that was like my spirit guides like preparing me for this.
Mm.
You know, like, because at that time also I was going through a really dark night of the soul. I was like really reaching out to my spirit guide saying like, look, I am not only done with this page, but I'm done with this chapter. I'm done with this book. Get me a new set of encyclopedias to work from. I was wearing like 3 grams of Moldavite. Like, girl, when I tell you I was ready for that spiritual upheaval, I was ready. I was calling it in. Okay. So when it happened, like, yeah, it was scary. Yeah, I was like, whoa, what is happening? What ground am I standing on? But I've never been happier now, and like today I've never been happier. So it's like sometimes you definitely got to go through some muddy waters to get clean again, you know?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't say as far as your question with kids, I don't, I didn't teach groups of children or anything like that, but from my understanding, more and more kids are, being born, and so I'm looking forward to that. I might have one of those, even though we have, other challenges that we deal with. He's still super special. And then my own child, I feel like, my second neurotypical child, when he was like 2, going on 3, just starting to talk and stuff, he would talk about like what I think was a past life, you know what I mean? Like he was recalling his, which I think a lot of children do, but people aren't aware that this is happening, and they're not aware of past lives or any of the stuff, that you learn about
Yeah.
in spiritual awakening. But
Or their kid says something that they think is crazy or off the wall, and they don't pay it any attention.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And then he's also told me in the more recent years that, he'll think about something, or like either daydream or dream, and then it happens in life. So he doesn't have the words to put to that, but I guess it would be like precognition or whatever. But so it's, which is neat, So I do think, I don't want to tell my kid that he's not experiencing this, because I think that's what
Hmm.
does turn off kids. I think we all have these abilities and they're shut down. So, because of programming, society, churches, beliefs, all the stuff, we are programmed to like not be aware of the spirit world and the metaphysical things, and that we are multi-dimensional beings and all this stuff. And so I would tell all parents to be open and not shun or tell their kids that it's not true, or it's their imagination or whatever, and just be open to that. And maybe also work on yourselves and your own spiritual gifts, because like I said, we all have them, and we just have some work to get there, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we've had pretty strong filters put in place,
Oh yeah.
throughout our upbringing, so to speak.
Hmm.
And I feel like that programming that most of us have all received, um, limits certain aspects of our experience.
Sure.
And I wish that we could all realize that there is a lot more to your reality than what you probably realize.
Which is why we do our show, which is why we're on this show, because we've had these conversations amongst ourselves. We've all individually learned things, but when we come together and talk about those things and then allow other people to come to terms with those things, I feel like we're creating those positive ripples in the environment, in our existence. And I feel like another thing I feel the need to say, I'm being called to say right now, is that the notion of a life review. One thing I've learned through listening to NDEs and speaking with people that have researched NDEs and authors that have written books on NDEs, a lot of people talk about the idea of life review. Like when you die, you get a life review and you get to see what you did. And during your life review, you're living it from the other people's perspectives. Like whoever experienced you is how you're going to experience your life review through their lens. So you're going to get to see you through their eyes.
The good
right?
and the bad.
Scary. I know. Believe me, there's plenty of things I've done in my life that I'm not looking forward to reviewing through the people's eyes that were involved. Okay. But the point is like, I feel like if you live your life in such a way that you're going to be proud of your life review and like your life review is going to be fun and exciting, like that's awesome.
Yeah, but also know that your mistakes are not, you're not judged and condemned to hell for them or
Right.
anything like that. So that's another thing about those life reviews is that they're supported fully, by spirit guides or whoever would be, a good person or to support you through that while you're experiencing that, because you feel both, and really it's you beating yourself up, right, Allie? It's like you're watching this negative thing you did to somebody, the ripple effect and how they, from their perspective, how it all felt. And it's always the person that's like, how could I do that? Oh God, I should have done so much better. But it's like you're being like supported from behind and they're telling you it's okay, like we're in our school.
I take it as the ultimate learning experience.
Yeah.
What, this existence, you mean?
Yeah.
No, life review.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's like a teaching experience for you to
Yeah.
see what you've done and how you could potentially do it differently.
Yep.
If you have another incarnation.
Which also is something, sorry, if you have a question you want to ask us, we could do this all day. Like,
yeah, we could.
I think there's
talk about this stuff
I've been wanting to mention this whole time, and that's the notion of soul contracts, right? Because I remember, and again, I'm recovering Catholic. There was none of that in my upbringing, right? So the idea of a soul contract is when, like, okay, for people that don't know, if there's anybody that doesn't know what a soul contract is or the notion of a soul contract, it's when you're in spirit form, getting ready to incarnate onto earth, right? And you're up there chilling with your spirit guides and you're sitting down at the table. Everybody's got their papers, everybody's got their notes, and you're like, okay, what lessons do I want to learn when I go to earth this time? I want to learn trust. So in order to learn trust, guess what has to happen? There has to be somebody that breaks your trust, that hurts you in some way, shape, or form. Or if you want to learn how to love, you have, God will give you the opportunity to love. So it's like all of these things that you go through in your lifetime are probably checking some sort of box on your soul contract list of lessons that you wanted to learn while you're here.
There's a reason for everything.
Right. And I remember when I was in my deepest, darkest depression, ready to peace out on earth, dark night of the soul situation, I was always in the victim mindset of like, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Why are these things happening to me? But then when I switched my mindset to why are these things happening for me? What lessons am I supposed to be learning from this? What boxes am I supposed to be checking off my soul contract through going through this experience? Then everything just has like a lighter tone to it because you realize it's for a reason.
And yeah, those enemies are part of your soul group, who
playing a role,
reincarnated with many lifetimes, switching roles. Like, my kids could have been my grandparents' father. It's all switches up, which is totally very interesting to me. Yeah.
I love that. And so when people are going through something challenging, they should be thinking like, what is it that I'm learning from this versus why is this problem happening? Because yeah, problems are always happening for us and we all get better through them if we look at it that way versus like, yeah, same thing. I used to get depressed about it, like, why is this happening? And then I'm like, this is why it's happening. I need to learn.
Right. And another thing on that subject is that like your spirit guides will push you to learn lessons. They'll give you little nudges. If you ignore the nudges, they'll give you a push. If you ignore the push, they'll give you a shove. If you ignore the shove, they're going to whack you with a 2x4. So it's like if you see patterns repeating in your life and you're like, oh my God, why am I with another dude who's treating me poorly? It's like, well, have you learned that lesson to not let people treat you poorly yet? Like not saying that people are like, anyways, the point is you're here to learn stuff. And if you could look at it through that lens, zoom out, look at it through your soul contract lens, things will be less intense.
Perspective. I think it's all about perspective.
Yeah. It is definitely.
Exactly. And our spirit guides are trying to help us graduate because Earth is the third hardest planet to be in the whole universe, I heard. So
I heard it was
I feel that.
I heard that too.
The third hardest one. I was like, it sure feels that way. So they want us to graduate, so hopefully we don't have to come back. And the naughty palm reading, we were talking to Dr. Q yesterday. He said 25% of the population has a chance to like either graduate this lifetime or they have just one more life left. So the other 75% probably won't. But out of those 25%, if they do their dharma, their service to humanity, they love themselves, they finish all these contracts, they can have a chance to actually leave Earth and go be with Source. And just, he was saying drinking pina coladas. And I was just like, so
Oh,
I love
nice.
me some coconuts.
Nice. Yeah.
exactly. So everything you guys
So
said,
wait, who was saying that?
huh? Dr. Q,
Who said that?
the naughty palm leaf readings. Have you guys heard of that? Where they're like these ancient records written for each of us somewhere in India, and then you sign up for it, you send your thumbprint, and then they pull it up and they go like, all right, Leslie's thumbprint matches this soul group, and then they do a reading for
Oh,
you.
Wow.
This is your path, this is your karma. He said it's mostly like they
Oh.
tell you what you still have to learn, because if they tell us the good stuff, like we already know that. So, but he said like the 25% of the population, if we do that right, then we have a chance to graduate. And so it's kind of like, I thought that was interesting. Yesterday, I went to that, and then today you guys are talking about Dharma and all these soul contracts. So it feels like our guides are trying to say the same thing. So
synchronicity.
the synchronicity group, my friend Sharon, that's how she knows you guys, as the synchronicity group. And
I love
Aw.
that.
you guys.
Hi,
So
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Sharon's gonna watch this, so we should see that. Anything else you
Shout
guys
out, Sharon.
anything else you guys want to share as we're wrapping up? Because I know you guys have somewhere to go. It's Sunday, and I so appreciate you guys being here and your time and all your generosity.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you for having us.
I feel like if I could just ask people to somehow be more empathetic towards this experience on Earth, other people, other living things, insects, animals, plants, the environment, like
Yeah.
if people could just be more empathetic and have more, excuse my language, fucks to give about how their actions cause ripples and impact other people and other living things, I think that would be great. So if I could accomplish one thing with this video, if people could tap into empathy more, I'll be happy.
Absolutely. I'll piggyback off of that, and I'll say definitely I wish people would absolutely be more empathetic, um, and realize that we, in fact, are all one, and we are part of the same source. So, love yourself and love one another, and I think the world would be better off for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Nikola Tesla would say, if you want the key to the universe, think in terms of, am I mixing up two
Yeah.
words right now?
If
No.
you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in
Think in
terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And that really it wraps up the whole, like, basically we are those things, and we give off those things, and we can, receive those things, negative or positive, and we have a choice. Are we gonna like soak that in, or are we not? You know what I mean? And so yeah, just love yourself. And I would suggest, I mean, I know people who are watching this channel already are on the path, but if it could go out to those who aren't, I suggest, look into all these things that we talk about, because it's very true, and it really helps you on your path. And yeah, maybe it can be one of the 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Love that. Thank you so much, all of you, for your authenticity, for your true commitment to love and uniting humanity through the education you're providing. And I'm just so excited to see your path, how it's all going to expand and grow. So thank you again for coming.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Thank you for holding this space for us.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be of service. Okay, bye-bye.